Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Bad Moms in Business, the podcast. Today, we are going to be talking about ways to save money, whether that be like overtly obvious ways or sneaky ways. Amanda has already said she's of no service during this episode.
There's my white flag. There's this. I told Danielle and yourself, I'm looking forward to listening.
Yes. I think what's cool about the timing of this one is this podcast has come out right after Christmas, the week after Christmas. So like,
Yes.
we all just need to take a breather.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. One of the things, Danielle, and hopefully this isn't on your list and I'm stealing it right out from under you, but one of the things that I would really like to implement in my house, really for myself, Chris spends no money, is no by January.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to try so hard. Can you explain to us what no by January is?
It is my absolute favorite. So that is number one on my list.
Oh,
for the record.
Perfect.
So yeah, Brandon and I.
Sounds so stressful.
Brandon and I do a no buy. This doesn't include groceries, food, things like that, but just anything else. No clothes, no extras, no going to the movies, no anything for the entire month. And we have been doing this every January for about 3 years. It is hands down our favorite time of the year because Brandon and I are still working through this whole minimalist thing. Clearly that's not working out too well, but like, you know, it's a mindset, it's a journey kind of thing. So every year we just want to take a break because we're both super overwhelmed after Christmas and you get so much stuff and we're so grateful for it. And we love it so much, but we really take January and we actually declutter. We usually declutter our entire house. I don't know if anybody's an OG listener around here, but we did our January declutter last year. We probably won't be doing that this year, but it's fine. But we try to declutter as much as possible. And then we do a complete no buy for the entire month. And I believe we've talked about doing it at some point in the middle of the year for 2022 as well. So we'll see how that goes. But it's just a nice, like, no pressure, no nonsense, just nope, we're using what we got. We're good with what we got. If you really want something, put it on a list. If it's an emergency, obviously you have to, but like put it on a list. And if you want it in 30 days, then you'll still want it. You can buy it then.
So and think about how much money you probably save doing that. You know, even if it's just
great.
Quick trips through the drive-through, that would be So no Starbucks.
Bridgette, oh yeah, we don't do that anyways, but
we don't either.
I would save more money than I'm comfortable admitting.
You're going to tell us off camera though, right?
Yes, I'm curious. I got you.
Curious.
Well, we stopped this recording. Our inquiring minds need to know. And maybe if we hit 1,000 followers on IG, maybe you'll share it.
Yeah. That would be cool.
Yeah, so that's might be the same amount of money as our followers at that point.
Right.
right. So that's my number one.
Okay. One of the things I like to do is go through my Apple store and look through subscriptions.
Yes. I just did this.
And how many things were you paying for that you didn't mean to be paying for?
I've never done this before.
So a lot.
I was like, are you kidding me? Okay, so this is another bad thing that I do. So let me preface this by saying I am not perfect. None of us are perfect. This is not what we're about. We're just trying to learn and to grow and to be better.
Right.
So I had never done this before. I also suck at looking at my credit card statements.
Oh,
okay.
So when I see I just pay the bill like that. That's just what I do. Every month I just pay the bill at the end. So, I had a few things on there that were apps and different subscriptions and stuff that I barely remember even using, or like you sign up for like a 7-day trial, forget to unsubscribe to it kind of thing.
Yep. That's how they get you. Mm-hmm. That is how they get you. So I love to go through. Go ahead, Amanda. I'm so sorry.
I was just going to say, and I have to represent at least a percentage of the population out there, that I religiously check like my statements, because when you don't necessarily have a ton of money, you know what I'm saying? You got to pay a little bit more close attention than maybe someone else who doesn't, especially when you're not maybe using credit cards and they're actually like your checking account.
Yeah.
Our debit card stolen one time, the number, and it was awful. So I like religiously check it several times a day because I want to shut it down if there's ever a problem again. Oh, what a headache.
7 times a day?
A couple times a day I check. Absolutely.
See, well, there's your tip. You said you had nothing for us. There's your tip.
Oh, I thought it was a little bit obsessive. Okay,
it is. It's insane.
Oh, look at me tipping.
I dig it. I dig it. You know what else? This kind of leads into another thing for me too, is something that I really want to get better at in 2022 is really tracking my expenses. So like we do this for business expenses because of what the three of us do for a living, but I really want to start tracking like my miscellaneous kind of nonsense stuff. And that kind of falls into it. I don't think I'll do it every day, but I do think I'll do it once a month. I will commit to that.
But once a month can be over, because anyone who like knows me close enough knows I still use a check registry.
Yeah.
And so if you were trying to reconcile that once a month, it's just so overwhelming.
For sure.
If
I don't do that.
That's why I kind of do it daily too, just so I can stay on top of it. So once a month, that freaks me out.
Yeah.
Funny how you're overwhelmed that I would do it once a month, and I'm overwhelmed that you do it every day. Choose your hard.
Choose your hard.
Choose your hard. Choose your hard. Yeah. So yeah, check those apps. Check your subscriptions.
So true.
And the other thing too, like for a long time, I was getting an Ipsy subscription. Do you guys know what Ipsy is?
I do.
I don't.
It's a makeup subscription, and it comes every month with like a real cute bag.
Super cute.
And different makeup. Sometimes it's samples, sometimes full size, whatever. But I would get the stuff and I would go, oh, cute, and like toss it to the side and never use it. Why am I paying for that?
Right.
And how many makeup bags does one person need?
It's a cute idea that they give the bags every month, but it's like, whoa, now I have 30 of them and I don't know what to do with them.
No idea. So things like that I canceled as well, because if I want a new eyebrow pencil, I'll just go get one and I'll spend less than $10 on it. And it won't come with a bag that I don't need.
Yep.
So that was my tip.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks.
My next one is something I cannot for the life of me remember where I heard this, but I did not come up with this, but it is a saying that says, store it at the store.
Ooh.
I am a big, I'm going to need this in a month or 6 months or whatever. And I'm here. I may as well buy it now. And it's like, no, because then it sits around or I lose it or whatever. And then you have to go rebuy it again anyways, or it goes bad or whatever the case may be. Store it at the store. And that's kind of how I've been thinking about with my apps lately too. So I told you every January, we kind of do like a whole declutter thing. Well, part of it is like I do a digital declutter and I have all of these apps that I don't touch on my phone. Get rid of it. When you need it, it will be there to re-download. It takes 2 seconds. So like just store it at the store. You don't need to store it at your house. You don't need more things. You don't need to spend more money. Store it at the store.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. Another one of mine would be really pay attention. If you're someone that carries a credit card balance, we've talked in the past about my experience with credit card debt and the journey that it was. But if you are someone that is currently carrying credit card balances, check those interest rates, because if you are paying super crazy high interest rates, what you need to be doing, or what you should be doing, is finding a 0 interest credit card, even if it's 0 interest for 6 months, transferring your balance, getting rid of those high interest credit cards, pay as much of it as you can in that introductory period, and then look for another 0% interest credit card and transfer it again. Because you can do that over and over and over again. There's no limit to how many times you can transfer, to my knowledge,
I didn't know that.
balances to different cards. So I'm obviously not a financial advisor, and someone might be listening to this going, oh my gosh, that's terrible. Don't open so many lines of credit. I don't know. But I also know it's terrible to be paying 29% interest when you could be paying 0.
And I think your point to that is to the person who is actively trying to eliminate that credit card debt, not somebody who's still using it every single month. That's the
or
person
somebody who's right. And if you use a credit card and you're paying it off every month and the interest rate is 30%, who cares? You're never paying the interest.
Right. Exactly. Right.
But if you are someone who is trying to pay it off, check through your credit cards, look at your statements. What's your interest rate? And transfer those balances somewhere else.
This actually isn't one of mine, but it probably should have been, is I treat credit cards like I treat money. It's basically one and the same for me. And I don't put anything on my credit card that I couldn't pay off within 1 month. I think we've talked about this before when we've, did our financial stuff. I have never, I'm going to knock on whatever wood I can find. I have never carried a balance on any credit card ever because it freaks me out so bad. And I just know it's a very slippery slope, and I'll just, so yeah,
I feel like, and I said this during that episode that we were talking about credit card debt and all the financial health and stuff. I'm telling you, I still think credit card companies should be illegal. I do not think they should be allowed.
It's so dangerous. It's so dangerous. And I can remember I had my first credit card at 16 because it was one of those it was geared towards teenagers. Your parents had to co-sign it. It was a way to start at a very young age, getting credit to your name so that when the time came and you needed a credit score, you had one.
Right.
But I learned at 16 that I could buy things and not have to pay for them right away. Like to me, to a 16-year-old, it's like, this is free money.
For sure.
And my mom oversaw the whole thing. I was never in debt.
Of course.
But I do think that probably helped train my brain that credit cards are buy now, pay later.
Yep. It's an interesting theory because I've seen like commercials and stuff where they have these, not sponsored, but like green light cards, I think is what they're called for kids. And I've always wondered, like, it's going to be so different for our kids walking around with these pieces of plastic where we didn't get anything until you were 16. Everybody that I knew was 18 or older to get a credit card. And it's like, now these kids are going to walk around having that, but it's not the same thing as like a money transaction kind of thing,
It is interesting.
We actually have green light cards. Each of them have $5 on them because I've never put any more money on it. I opened it up with the minimum of the $5 or $10 or whatever it was that you needed. And actually, I just remembered that I have them because when I was going through my subscriptions, it's $5 a month to own those.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So your $5
that you put on there.
To my point, those are literally sitting somewhere in my house, not being used, but I've probably paid $50.
Just draining money.
$10 a month then, right? Because is it a piece?
Yeah. So that's getting canceled.
Canceled.
Ouch, I did not know that. That's very interesting.
Yeah. And it's only because I was going through my bank account the other day and I was like, what is, that's what that is. Interesting. Yeah. So those are being canceled.
Do you have any others? Anything else? Yeah.
I just think too, we all cut the cord or cut the cable cord or whatever they were calling it, right?
Yeah.
We all did that. We were like, we're not paying Comcast $200 a month. That's insane. But now we all have Netflix,
40,
and Hulu, and HBO Max, and Paramount Plus, and what Peacock, like people,
40
you are
of them.
paying the same amount of money, but now you're paying it to 800 different people.
And here's the deal. When we first cut the cord, or whatever you want to call it, when we first did that, it was great because we literally just did Netflix.
Yep.
Netflix had it all. They were the one-stop shop for everything. Then they took Friends off of Netflix.
And The Office. Yes.
And The Office.
Wait, I didn't know that they took The Office off. I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yeah. Over Paramount or something.
Then I was like, well, I have to have HBO because I have to have Friends. I held off for 1 full year because I was like, they're going to come back. They're going to come back to Netflix. They're going to come back begging and screaming. And they didn't. So I waited 1 full year, and literally to the day, it happened January 1st, to the day I waited. And then from then on, I have HBO. And then, they came out with that Halloween movie, the second Halloween movie. And so I had to buy that because that was on Peacock. So I had to buy that. Why do I still have it? I don't know. Was that movie terrible? Yep, it was.
I feel the
I'm
same
still
way
paying
though.
for that every month.
The Sex and the City movie, I think, is out like today or tomorrow. That's on HBO Max. Guess who doesn't have that? Me. Guess who's probably going to have to sign up for HBO Max? Me. I have
Gotta
to
do it. You have to.
But I will say it's a lot easier to cancel. It's not typically like a 1-year contract or 2-year like regular cable was, because I actually just went through our list a couple weeks ago, and I went and I wrote down all of my like expenses, and I was like, what can we go down? And I was super proud. And so Peacock I canceled and went back down to the free version with the commercials.
I didn't know there was a free version because my Peacock still has commercials.
Peacock does have a free version, so we still have it, but I'm not paying the $10 a month or whatever for the bonus.
Can I interrupt you? Is it free because you also have do you pay a cable bill?
Nope.
Okay, go ahead.
And we have YouTube TV, and we just reduced that because Marcus had to get the HBO because he wanted to watch the new what was the Tony Soprano? What show is that? Sopranos. He wanted to watch like that movie, and so we just reduced that because unless you write down what. To Bridgette's point, like you look at the Apple thing, like I wrote down like all the bills on paper because I'm a nerd like that. So you really see it. You don't know what to cancel or reduce.
Yeah.
You know what I find super interesting about this topic is Amanda's like, I don't have anything to contribute to this. And then she's over here busting out her lists of all of her expenses and stuff. Amanda could have taught us this.
Yeah.
Not true.
She's like, let me get my notebook and show you exactly what I did. But I have nothing to contribute.
For everything that we're saying, she's like, oh, I do that. Oh, I do that. Oh, I do that.
Well, I guess, I don't know. I'll default back to you, Danielle.
No, we want you to talk. We're excited that you have things to share.
I didn't like it either.
See? But yeah, I think
my dogs.
That's it for my money saving tip. Stop paying interest. Stop paying for apps and subscriptions that you don't want or need, and steal passwords from your friends and don't pay for all of those streaming services. I
mean, I'm sure there's some sort
of Moms in Business does not endorse that message.
I'm sure there are rules somewhere, but also it's kind of not a terrible idea. You know what I'm saying? Just to like go in jointly on things. Okay, I have 3 more. I will run through these at rapid fire. First thing is pay yourself first. We save money first. We get a paycheck, we get a commission, whatever the case may be. We put a certain percentage into our savings account right away. Out of sight, out of mind. That's not even money that we have towards bills or anything else. That just strictly goes away. And then the other 2 things are super easy. Just turn off lights. Turn off lights when you're done. It is so simple. Oh my gosh, that thing drives me nuts. I hate when I see lights on in rooms that nobody's been in for an hour. It drives me bananas. And then
please don't come to my house because I can guarantee, well, not today because I went through, but there are times that I go upstairs for the first time after getting out of bed at like 4:00 in the afternoon and Jace's bedroom light is on.
Nope.
He's obsessed with leaving his light on.
Hate it.
Hate it
my
too.
least favorite.
Yeah. Don't love it. Go ahead.
And then the very last thing, super simple, cook at home, pack your lunch, do what you can. There are very simple ways. I know it's not always fun. but
No.
you can find fun things to do. But it's so simple, and yet I suck at it so bad. But
Me too.
we're working on it.
Yeah.
And I'll piggyback off of that, Danielle, because I want to brag a little bit that I cleaned out my refrigerator on Sunday morning at 5:00 in the morning. Just saying.
Okay. That's so weird.
Well, Billy
Mhm.
woke me up, and Marcus and Owen were gone because they went to the U of M game, and so I just was like bored. I got to stay busy, and the amount of food and condiments I threw away because they were expired.
Yeah.
Just it made me sick to my stomach. Probably because condiments are expensive.
Yeah.
Very
For sure they are.
Probably $200 worth of stuff that I threw out for like that I would buy for a recipe and then never use the rest of the bottle or the jar or whatever the case may be. And that we've spoken to HelloFresh a couple of times just because we love how it comes with the exact amount that you need. And so there's zero waste most of the time. And it just made me sick to my stomach. So if I did that a little bit more, I'm going to be more intentional about cooking at home and actually using up the stuff before it expires, because that what good is writing down all of your expenses and trying to save if you're just throwing away X amount of dollars a month in food?
And it is expensive.
It's so expensive. And I'm really terrible at looking through a recipe and going, oh, I need soy sauce and Worcestershire and whatever.
You said that very good.
Very good.
Thank you. And running to the store and getting those items and then coming home and finding out I already had them. And so now I have yet another bottle of soy sauce. Like, I need to go through my pantry before I go to the store. And
not to mention, more than likely, if anyone went to the store for just Worcestershire sauce and soy sauce, they bought more than just those two items too.
Oh,
so
100%.
Cost you even more. So yes, 1,000%. Check your pantries. Woo!
Before you go.
Look
at us. We are financial wizards.
I mean, if it walks like a duck.
If it looks like a duck. Buy it used.
So one quick question before we wrap this up, because I know we're over. Danielle, when you say you pay yourselves first, is there any leniency to that? So say, for example, there was a emergency repair or something at the house, or you didn't, because our income fluctuates, three of ours, very frequently on a monthly basis. If money was light coming in that month and you're still paying yourselves, but maybe it was a smaller check than it would have been, is there any leniency to that rule of paying yourself first, or you will become behind on a payment?
I don't know. So that's a great question. I think what I would do is maybe fluctuate the percentage of what I'm paying myself. And still, just to get in that habit, get in that momentum. So instead of saving 35% of every check, I would maybe save 5%, depending on, what kind of expenses are coming up and stuff like that.
And I'm going to interrupt too, because I think if you start really small and save 5% or 2% of every single check, then when those big expenses do come up, you have a savings account to pull from. So you're not hurting yourself by pulling from your savings account. I mean, it stinks to see that money gone.
But that's why it's there. That's so true.
That's why it's there.
But it doesn't hurt as much. Yeah. Like, it really doesn't. Like, I've even started doing this for my rental business that I have, is like, I have a separate account set up specifically designed for repairs. So that way, when I do have repairs come up, it's not such a gut punch. It's like, I had that money set aside that I wasn't touching anyways.
And
I would say
I wasn't taking into the fact that once you get that savings, Sarah, then you're not having to worry about how light your checks are, because the money for those unexpected things, that's why there's a savings. Makes complete sense. So that first 6 months to maybe a year of getting to that point are the roughest then, right?
Yes. 100%. Start small.
And if you start small, I mean, 2% doesn't sound like a lot of money, but 2% of whatever it is you're making over X amount of months adds up to be, oh my gosh, my microwave went out and I have to go buy a new one and have it installed. Well, I have that money sitting here now.
Exactly.
Love it. Good tips, ladies.
Good job, guys. I'm so proud of us.
Me too.
I'm proud of
Look
you.
at us, full-fledged
Oh my
adults
gosh.
over here.
Well, it is the end of the year, so we hope that everybody has a safe and happy New Year's.
Yes.
Have a fun party. Do what you got to do. Stay safe. Be happy. We'll see you in 2022.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Absolutely. Happy New Year.
Bye.
Bye, guys.